Hey guys, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down whether you want to be doing EMD transactions or double closing in your Gator business. And we're just going to we're going to kind of go over the pros and cons of doing both of them and what that's going to be like. But before we get started, I just wanted to throw out there that I'm going to throw the link to the Gator community down in the description, the mentorship. If you guys want to join, you can use the link down below. I think you might get a good discount if you use that link. You don't have to. I do make a little bit of money off of it, just so you know. But it just helps me continue to make videos like this, and I hope that they're helpful for you guys. So I'll put that down in the description, but let's hop right into it. So EMD versus a double close. Here's the pros, here's the cons. So I would say the first pro with EMD, if that's what you're going to focus on, is it's going to be, it's a lower barrier to entry with EMD. And what I mean by that is it doesn't take a lot of money to get started lending EMD to other people. So it's an easier way to get into real estate, right? So we'll put not a lot of money. Okay, so it doesn't take that much money to get started into it. I would say generally, you know, for EMD, you're going to see anywhere from like $1,000 to $5,000 per transaction. Sometimes if you're working with properties that are listed on the market, they'll want 1% of the purchase price as EMD or earnest money deposit. And if you guys don't know what EMD is, I'll probably just make another video describing exactly what that is. But for those of you that do, this is one of the pros of EMD. Another pro I would say of focusing on EMD is that you don't even need your own money. You can use like a credit card or like with 0% interest payments for like 12 months, and you could lend that out, and then you could make a return, pay off your credit card, and then you would get your money back. So it's very, very easy to get into. So we could just put, let's see, that's the first pro. Here's the second one. Use credit card. And yeah, another pro I would say is that when you're lending EMD, you're gonna have a lot of like repeat business. So a lot of times you want to find a specific wholesaler that you're working with who is doing a lot of deals, and then they're doing so many deals that they can't put out a $5,000 here or $1,000 here every single time because they're doing so many deals every single month. That's like your ideal person when you're lending to EMD, right? And so the other benefit is going to be when you're lending to that person will bring you multiple deals or repeat business, right? You'll be able to lend on multiple transactions for one person. So we'll put multiple deals. All right, and I would say that's pretty much the most of the pros for EMD. Like I said, the main part is that it's really like a low barrier to entry. It's a great place to get started in real estate. Now, some of the cons for EMD, I would say the first major con is, since it is that lower barrier to entry, you're gonna have a lot of competition, right? Because there's gonna be so many people doing it. So when you reach out to another wholesaler, or if you see in a Facebook group or something, someone saying, hey, I need EMD, like you're gonna see 50 comments underneath there of everybody saying, I can lend you EMD, I can lend you EMD, right? So that's kind of one of the drawbacks. Another drawback to having all that competition is then, okay, these people are gonna be shopping around your price essentially. So whatever you end up charging them to lend them your earnest money, you know, you might have to lower your price. So if let's say you lend out $1,000 and normally you would want $1,000 back, right? In this case, you may say this person has, 20 people who reached out to them. If you lend them $1,000, maybe for you to get the transaction, then you're gonna have to say, hey, I'll take, give me $500 or $400 or something like that for me lending you the $1,000. So that's, I would say, is one of the cons. Another con, or let's write that one down first. Lower cost. I would say another con is with EMD, there's a lot of like fallout, or the transactions don't go through, right? Because when you're wholesaling a deal, sometimes you don't find a buyer for it. There's just a lot of time from when the transaction is initially opened to when it actually closes for the deal to fall apart. So you probably have, let's see, when you open EMD right here, you open it right here, and then you have, let's say, these 10 days, which is normally your inspection period, 10 days in between here, right? Before they find a buyer. Within these 10 days, the transaction could fall out, right? Like I said, because you can't find a buyer, maybe the seller doesn't want to do it anymore, or anything like that. So fallout rate is very high. Fallout rate. But other than that, I would say like it's a really good place to get started and start doing a lot of deals is lending on EMD. You could probably easily make, if you did, let's say you even lent out $1,000 and you required $1,000 return. Every time you lent out $1,000, you wanted to get $1,000 return, so you would get $2,000 back when the deal closes. I mean, if you found just like 2 people and did 2 deals with them, I mean, you could be making $4,000 a month just doing EMD transactions. So I would say that's pretty good. All right, let's go into the double closes now. A pro with the double close is you're gonna have a lot less competition, right? Less competition. And the reason you're gonna have less competition is because when you're doing a double close, you're putting up $200,000, maybe $300,000, $400,000 for one transaction, right? So there's not gonna be as many people who have that much money liquid at one time to be able to just say, hey, I'll fund your deal to do the double close. And for those of you who don't know what a double close is, or I can make another video on that as well, but just really quick to talk about it, it's basically just saying, essentially, you're gonna close on it in your name and you're gonna become the owner for like, let's say an hour, maybe less than an hour, and then your buyer is gonna essentially buy it from you. So that's why it's called a double close. So in this case, let's say you were buying the property for $200,000. I would say, okay, I'll give you the $200,000 for the hour that you need it, and then your buyer is gonna buy it from you for $250,000, let's say, right? So you're making that $50,000 difference on the double close. So there's a lot less competition because there's not as many people who have that much money liquid to be able to do it. And usually, a lot of times, what someone will charge for a double close is anywhere from 1% to 2% of the purchase price of that transaction. With the double close, another pro would be that there's a short turnaround time. And what I mean by that is when I'm saying like an hour, it could be even less than an hour. I mean, it could be 10 minutes. Literally, if I sent them $200,000 for the double close, it would close, and then the buyer already has their money in escrow. And then by the time the document's signed, it was only 10 minutes. And then by that time, I get my $200,000 back from the title company, plus my 1 to 2% that I charge to do the double close, right? So shorter turnaround. Short turnaround times. All right. And now I want to get to the number 1 pro of a double close. And that is the transactions never fall out, right? Never fall out. And the reason that the transactions never fall out is because you already have your buyer in place. They already have their $250,000 in escrow, you're just putting your $200,000 in there. So then the person who you lent it to can make that $50,000. So it's never going to fall out. There's not going to be a reason that, your money's sitting there for 10 days or 30 days, however long until it closes escrow. You're just going to get your money back and your return all within a couple of hours. So that's why I think double closes, I really like to focus on double closes. Not saying that I wouldn't lend EMD either. I do lend EMD and I lend double closes. But that's why I really like these ones, because they never fall out. Now, a con of the double close is, like I said, if you're just getting started, the barrier to entry is very high, right? It's a higher barrier of entry. It's just harder to do. High barrier to entry. High barrier to entry. But other than that, I wouldn't really say that there's any cons to a double close. Really just that you have to have the liquid capital to be able to do it. So I wanted to put this out there, guys. If you need earnest money or double closes, preferably double closings, if you need any double closings, you can go to EMD with Ryan.com. That's emdwithryan.com. I'll also put that link down in the description as well. And I'll fund all of your earnest money. I'll fund all of your double closings, and we can make a bunch of deals happen. But I hope that helped, guys. Hopefully you can see kind of which way you want to lean your business and what you kind of want to focus on. And I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.